have a monster in your closet, or have hours of missing time. Doesn't matter if you have shadow people who follow you through the park. You have a friend in Gary Anderson and Night Dreams After Dark.
Night Dreams Talk Radio Network brings you The World Paranormal News with James Creechbaum. Now, the latest news.
I'm James Creechbaum with the Paranormal and World Changes News. NASA is planning an ambitious attempt to bring back samples from Mars. And when they do come back, they will have to be quarantined, they say, in case of any pathogens or anything else that they may bring back. Hopefully we get some straight answers, and if they find something, we'll learn about it. Also, a zombie deer disease may have already begun to spread among humans. According to the CDC, the disease may already have been passing through humans, and it could be in us and mutate into something more severe, and they call it a zombie disease. That's something scary to think about. And they say the best way to avoid it is to avoid venison. Also, FEMA reports that it could be 4 to 10 years without electricity if a solar flare hits us like it did back in the 1800s. Now, if that hits, we're going to be in all kinds of trouble with no electricity for 4 to 10 years. You talk about apocalypse, look out. That's going to be chaos in the making. And again, we should stock up on transformers or plan ahead, but we're not. Next, here is the worst travel times for your 2019 Thanksgiving journey. The average worst time across the country is between 5 and 7 o'clock p.m., so if you're traveling tomorrow on Wednesday for Thanksgiving travel, try to avoid the time between 5 and 7 p.m. in the afternoon or in the evening there, because that is reported to be the worst time to be on the road for your Thanksgiving travel. Also, there's mystery living stones of Romania. Now, these stones, they actually change shape. And what it is, there's like a cement-type creation that they secrete, and they change shape and mold into different shapes over time, and it's very mysterious. Looks like they are actually changing, but it's really a secretion that they secrete. Also, bleak UN reports finds world heading to climate catastrophes. Their latest report says it looks bleak. Global warming is all over, and it doesn't seem to be changing. It's been going up at 1.7% every year for the last 5 to 10 years. It's not looking very good. So that's always something bleak to think about. We've been talking about global changing every night here, and hopefully something can happen. They're saying they need to do something quick, or it's going to be irreversible. Next newscast tomorrow night.
Good evening, or morning, depending on your time zone. From the Pacific to the Atlantic to you worldwide. Get yourself a cup of Java and find a comfy, easy chair. And get ready for Gary and his guest on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. And now, here's Gary.
And here I am, and I need a different golf club. Anyway, well, we got just an hour left of the show. James has some questions for Lon, because, James, follows everything Lon does. Go ahead, James, and ask away. You got like 20-some minutes to, ask whatever you want. And it's up to Lon if he wants to respond.
Yeah, hopefully Lon does. Anyway, Lon, that one report that came in, I think it was a Rosemont or near the airport area. It was not too long ago where the witness looked up, and above them, this humanoid flying, whatever it was flying above them and let out a god-awful screech. And my question is, has there been more similar reports of that? And if so, has there, in your research and investigations, has there been any physical evidence from all these cases?
There hasn't been any physical evidence. there has been some indiscernible photographic evidence. Because unfortunately, these sightings are very fleeting, or they're at night, or for whatever reason, because of the shock of the incident, people, the last thing they're thinking about is grabbing their phone and get a photograph. As far as the flying overhead and screeching, we've had a few of those. That one, the most recent one, the one you're referring to, was fairly close, and they got a pretty good idea of the sound. So, yeah, that was fairly close.
Yeah, that would definitely stand the hair on your head, I would think. Now, how did they describe that one? They had to have a very good look at it. I mean, it was right above them.
Well, it was at night. It was in a parking lot. It was backlit when it went over. So, but it was a similar sighting to what others have been describing, a very dark being with the thin body, possibly some legs, and the bat-like wings. Since this was only like a profile of this being, the details were very scarce as to that particular sighting. But overall, the general description and profile was similar to what we've been getting before.
Mm-hmm. Now, what area that you've been to, or you get reports of, that has many different cryptid sightings that maybe overlap a certain area? Is there an area of the country that has that going on?
No, there are several, actually. I live in Pennsylvania. We have had a history of cryptid activity in Pennsylvania, as well as other activity. UFO activity has been heavy. My associate, Butch Wachowski, looks into most of that. But we, as far as cryptids go, of course, Bigfoot, the upright canine phenomena, which we've been reporting on over the past couple of years, the winged humanoids and other flying cryptids. There's been a dichotomy of cryptid activity in this state. I guess other areas where we received a good variety are in Florida, in particularly southwest Florida, from Tampa Bay across over into Orlando, then south along the coast, has been very active over the years. We've gotten sightings of different types of cryptids in southern Texas, from San Antonio south, and then around San Antonio into the hill country. We've had a lot of Bigfoot activity. But in South Texas, we've had a lot of different sightings, and in fact, we've had these small dinosaur or T-Rex type sightings reported there as well. So, those are probably the hottest areas, and of course, the upper Midwest into Wisconsin and Illinois have had a variety of different types of activity, in particular the upright canines and the flying phenomena that we've been reporting on over the years.
Yeah, I've noticed you mentioned the small T-Rex in Texas. I have come across a lot of those reports too. What do you think's up with that? Do you think it's a cryptid we don't know, or do you think it's an actual living dinosaur?
Oh, I have no idea. This is a phenomena that has occurred. Well, the area around Hebbronville, Texas, has kind of been a hot area. I've received several reports around there for years now. And these T-Rex type sightings these are small dinosaurs. I mean, they're like Roadrunner size for the most part, but they're very distinctive, and they look like running lizards, basically. Some of the larger being sightings have been seen in the Utah area, northern Utah, central Utah. Bigger sizes I don't know if they're relics as opposed to some type of interdimensional type of sighting, or some other supernatural aspect to it. But those are the two areas that we have seen many of those type of sightings, let alone the pterosaur sightings, which, quite frankly, have been going on all over the country.
Yeah, I just read a couple there. It was in, I think, Massachusetts, where the guy and his mother seen them 30 minutes apart. I thought that was pretty intriguing. Yeah, that was pretty intriguing. But those have been popping up, too. Now, let me ask you a question. A lot of people have kind of crossed over on this Bigfoot theories. A lot of people thought they were flesh and blood cryptid, undiscovered cryptid for years. And now a lot of them are jumping over to the theory that they're spiritual or an alien or interdimensional. What's your take on that?
Well, I've been on the side of the interdimensional theory for a long time now, and the possibility it may be some type of extraterrestrial. This is something that I've looked into for many years. I've been criticized for talking about it for about the same number of years. But more recently, the Bigfoot community has kind of opened up a bit about that theory. They're kind of more open-minded now. And in fact, other researchers of other cryptids, like Linda Godfrey in particular with the upright canines in Wisconsin, she has kind of opened up to that interdimensional theory as well, because there have been some very supernatural type aspects to these upright canines, particularly in the Bay and the Bray Road area. It's kind of hard to actually believe that these are indigenous species, since frankly we haven't seen any bodies and we're not getting a whole lot of physical evidence.
Yeah, it seems like you see them and they're fleeing, they come and go. I can see where you're going with that. Yeah, and that brings me to the next thing there, the dogmen you kind of touched on. Is what's your theories on that? And I know there's been plenty of sightings of those.
Yeah, I kind of put it in two categories. The upright canines, or the bipedal canine type beings, these are usually very large in stature. They've got the muscular bodies. Most times they do have the hocked legs, though there have been some with human-like legs. Very, very ferocious-looking beings. Just think about the movie series Underworld and the Lycans. That kind of give you an idea of what people are describing, and big like that. We've had sightings described us as tall as 9 to 10 foot in stature. The ones that we have been investigating for the most part, more than any, are those in central Pennsylvania, where we have an area which we call the Lycan Loop, where we have received many of these reports over the years. When people talk about Dogman, I think many of them are describing the same being, though I put Dogman in the category of a quadruped that has a humanoid aspect to it.